good people, good people, good people. We have made it to Friday. TGIF edition of the show, number one form, hottest ticket for your Crimson Tide. Football news, notes, alerts, information, and entertainment. This is, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, coming to you from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming to you the show on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, smash that subscribe button, hit subscribe right now. If you have not subscribed yet, get your friends to subscribe so that way everybody can have what they crave, and that is Crimson Tide football. Also, run those likes up, give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, turn all of those notifications on, hit that little bell so that way you can have all of your insight on your program, that being the Crimson Tide. We also got you covered here on Facebook and Twitter as well. We got a lot to pop off about and discuss tonight. Next Monday of next week, national championship of the college football playoff from Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium. Crimson Tide, Georgia Bulldogs, the rematch, the sequel, the tango for a second time around. What will take place in this junction? Going to be a fun matchup right there. And folks, we want you being a part of the show. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. Number to let your voice be heard right there. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Do not let this night pass you by without letting your passion be made known here on the show. For Daily Super Chat Go, $75. Daily Super Chat Go, appreciate the love from you guys. We got two outstanding guests coming on. We got Brad Edwards, former ESPN analyst. Brad Edwards, who is the author of Dynasty by the Numbers, the book breaking down the Crimson Tide's run of championships under Nick Saban. We're going to also have University of Alabama graduate Adam Weil, who created the verified Gump craze on Twitter using the Crimson Crane, the little karate kick thing, the Crimson Crane, the trend, the celebration that John Mechie, Jameson Williams both made a big deal here in discussing the Crimson Tide. So Adam Weil making that some big verification, big notoriety there. So we're going to have him on the show. Going to be fun to check that out. Guys, shout out my man 6-0. One time starting us off with that $50 donation in the bag. Appreciate the love they're coming from 6-0. And behind him we got Keith Jones. Keith Jones comes in here with that $5 donation. So appreciate the love there from 6-0 and Keith Jones. But right now, we get into topic number one of tonight's show here, people. And for Alabama and Nick Saban, going back to the national championship game for the sixth time since 2014, 6 times since the college football playoff originated or started, the Crimson Tide has punched its ticket into this matchup, this game, this stage. Coach Saban has done an unbelievable job with not only the program, but in particular with this team, with this group, with this unit of young men out here on the field. And for a lot of you out there have been some questions directed about, the Cincinnati game. Alabama was dominant in the Cotton Bowl. Alabama was big time in the Cotton Bowl, winning the matchup by 21 points. But a lot of people ask the question, why didn't Alabama do more in that game? It just looked like the play call was so bland, so boring, so vanilla. Alabama didn't show a whole lot, didn't do a whole lot, especially offensively. Wasn't all that really explosive. And what was behind that? What could have been the purpose behind Coach Saban going with that particular game plan? Yes, Alabama won. Yes, it looked dominant, and U.S. fans appreciate every ounce of it. But for some of you, it was, why did Coach Saban choose to go that route there against the Bearcats? So let me break this down to you. So what Nick Saban was doing, he was playing chess, not only with Cincinnati, not only with national media, but ultimately with Georgia as the winner of the Orange Bowl between Michigan and Georgia, happened to be the Bulldogs. Saban was playing chess with everybody while everybody else was playing checkers. You think about this right here. Think about if you were in the military for a second. You wouldn't bring the Army tanks out there to battle if the opposition is having a hard time dealing with the handgun. Like, you wouldn't bring the tank out there if the opposition is having a difficult time in combat with the handguns that you're bringing out there on the battlefield. So, in this sense, why waste your best stuff? Why waste your best weaponry on an opponent when that opponent is having a difficult time handling the small stuff, handling the simple things, handling the tip of the iceberg? Like, you don't waste all the good goods. You don't waste all the good stuff when the team that you're playing against is having a difficult time handling, mastering, getting a grip on the small things within your arsenal. And for Alabama, Coach Saban saw this early on in the matchup against the Bearcats, and this is probably the reason why he had Joe Pendry step in place of Doug Marrone during the practices for the Cotton Bowl until Marrone made the trip down there. And I'm pretty sure Coach Pendry looked at Coach Saban and went, Coach, Cincinnati, you don't need to be all that explosive in this game. You line up man on man, you go power football, a little old school football. Power football should be enough, Coach Saban. Power football should be enough to get by Cincinnati and to handle Cincinnati. I mean, I know you've been working on a lot of different things, a lot of new stuff, a lot of things that Alabama's practiced on that's been waiting to unleash, haven't unleashed it yet. But I think just going old school, bland, man-on-man, power football, I think that would be enough to take care of the Bearcats. And that first drive of the Cotton Bowl, you saw it right there. I mean, Alabama had 10 runs, and the final play of that first drive was a pass to Slade Bolden for a touchdown, but you had 10 runs there. And from that drive, we saw, Bama doesn't need to pull out the entire semi-automatic rifle. Doesn't have to pull out the whole semi-automatic gun with Cincinnati having a hard time dealing with the tip of the blade. And the tip of the blade would be Brian Robinson power run game. Some small passes here and there, but Brian Robinson power run game. So think about this. When you're simple, right? When you're simple gives you a 21-point victory. When you're simple gives you 482 yards offensively, near 500 yards. When your simple gives you 301 yards rushing, they couldn't stop you. When your simple gives you an average of over 8 yards per play. When your simple gives you over 7 yards per game rushing, you don't need to go into anything else. You don't need to touch anything else. This is just your simple. This is not even the full blade. This is not the full gun. Your simple did that. And once again, why waste everything when the simple is allowing you to have success? So that was what Coach Saban was doing. He recognized early, don't need to go all into the bag against Cincinnati. We can save the good stuff, the big stuff for a more important time, a more important matter. It kind of all goes back to, remember last year, there were times where Steve Sarkisian was all in his bag as offensive coordinator in 2020. But it got down to the Rose Bowl in Texas against Notre Dame. And it was that matchup where Sarkisian wasn't all in his bag that matchup. He held off of it some. You had a lot more running the football with Najee Harris. Now, yes, Mac Jones and Devontae Smith and other skill guys, they still got their numbers in there, absolutely. But it was more so run game with Najee Harris. Defense played really, really well. And you got out of that matchup 31-14. And then the following week against Ohio State, then Sarkisian went back in the bag. That's when you saw the motions there with Devontae Smith, shifts there with Smitty, big plays all over the field because Sarkisian recognized, hey, we're playing Ohio State, we're playing the bigger opponent, we're playing the bigger matchup. Now let's show the full semi-automatic assault rifle. We don't got to show it against Notre Dame. We can show it here against Ohio State. So this is what Coach Saban is doing in this sense. He didn't need to show the whole the whole offensive weaponry here against Cincinnati. Just the basic, vanilla, plain offense there got you what it needed to get you in winning that football game. Now you're facing Georgia. And this matchup here with Georgia for the national championship, now I can see Alabama pulling out some looks, pulling out some plays, pulling out some schemes, pulling out some formations, pulling out some personnel groupings that we haven't seen all year. Now is the moment Coach Saban's going to bring out what he's been cooking up. Now Bill O'Brien's going to be deep in that bag, but now Nick Saban is going to be bringing out what he has cooked up for quite the amount of time this season in practices. Now he's about to bring that to the forefront because it's the final game of the year. It should leave it all out there on the line. It should leave it all out there on the table. It's put all of your cards out there because you're going after a national championship. You're going after your 8th national championship overall for Coach Saban, your 7th at Alabama to put you over Bear Bryant for all things. When you look at Crimson Tide football, Georgia's going to get the full gun here, the full army tanks, the full everything going up against Alabama and Coach Saban. I mean, Saban didn't have to do this against Cincinnati. He's going to bring it all out here against Georgia. You go back to the press conferences the Bulldogs coaching staff has had. Todd Monken, Georgia's offensive coordinator, saying Alabama's going to get our best shot. Dan Lanning, Georgia defensive coordinator. We got so many different ways to pressure Bryce Young. You have Georgia players that feel that spoke on. We knew we were going to be here. We knew we were going to be in this game. That's why we weren't worried about the SEC championship game matchup. Now here we go in this second time around. Coach Saban showing the nation here, I don't have to do what I wanted to do against Cincinnati. I can save that. I can say that to now. Here we go, Georgia national championship, all of the stuff that Alabama's worked on, that Alabama's planned on, that Alabama's cooked up with. They're going to bring this out here against the Bulldogs. And that's the reason why, people, Saban didn't go all out against Cincinnati. Playing chess where everybody else is playing checkers, holding his best stuff to the best moment, the most marquee moment. Why waste the best when teams are having trouble with the simple? Bearcats had trouble with the simple. Now we're going to get the full package here on next Monday night against Georgia here at the National Championship for the Crimson Tide, the Bulldogs. But folks, we take our break here on the show on Touch That Dial, just getting started. Upon our return, we go to the phone lines to take your calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your texts, your interactions. We get to you, the Bama Nation, right after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
This is Matt Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver, and you're listening to In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And I got two words to say, baby. Roll Tide.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
Back into the action here, folks, from the break on a Friday TGIF edition of the show. Number one ticket here for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Got the man John Ivory in the production studio. Got a couple of super chats to get to. So how about Coach Smoke? My man Senator Hines walks in here with that $10 donation helping us out here on the show. And then we got Cliff Reese, the man Cliff Reese, dropping in that $5 donation helping us out. And then we got Kendall Fox in here. He jumps in along in here with that $9.99 in the super chats. Appreciate the love from Cliff Reese, Coach Smoke, Kendall Fox, everybody showing love on a Friday. Daily super chat goal of $75 has been met, as next week, next Monday, we got Bama, Georgia, the rematch, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis for the national championship. I take the plane to Indy on Sunday. But right now, we go to the phone lines to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in right there, 205-448-1358. We grab a call here. You're live on the show. It's going on. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Mr. Stephen Smith and Tide Nation, roll tide. It's your boy Chris from Ballard Sports Media calling from Coleman, Alabama. Roll tide.
Roll Tide, Chris, what's happening, man?
Not much, man. I got 3 questions for you, but I will say, I'm very excited for this game, but, I'd be lying if I said I'm not nervous because Georgia's obviously been that team all season long. They've had the best defense probably in college football history, that summer's saying. I don't know if it's the best in history, but it's the best that we've seen from anybody really in a while. And they say it's hard to beat the same team twice. I kind of have, I mentioned the other day when I called in or whatever that I did. There's part of me that thinks Georgia might get it done, but also don't think that I am confident Alabama can. But I do have 3 questions about this game. And obviously, as a fan, I hope we get it done, and I would expect us to. But I got 3 questions for you. The first one, we know all about Bryce Young, and we know what this offense has been able to do. We hope that the offensive line can have a good game. That's going to be key. But, outside of Bryce Young on offense, is the key star, next man up to watching this game? Is it Jamison Williams for sure? Or are you looking at someone on the O-line like Evan Neal? Who are you looking at there?
Who am I looking at there? I think the next star here to me, Chris, is going to be Brian Robinson. After having a 200-yard game against Cincinnati, he wasn't healthy the first time around against Georgia. He's healthy now. What does B-Rob do? What type of numbers could he put up in this game? That's what I would go with.
Okay, and then I got 2 more for you. I'd ask the same thing on the defense. We know all about Will Anderson. Who would you say is the next defensive star in this game?
Dallas Turner, the guy that plays the same position opposite of him, Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner has grown up. He's grown up since the LSU game. Since the LSU game, he has been on fire, and there's been moments where Coach Golding has lined Will Anderson and Dallas Turner up on the same side. So 15 is the next one.
Okay, and then an out-of-nowhere player in this game that has maybe been this slow riser, whether it's offense or not, who's that guy that maybe we've kind of overlooked this year or not anyone's really talking about that you would say, don't be surprised if this guy has a big game in this one? Because, we know about guys like Jordan Battle, but, I don't know if we've really talked about him, full on this season. And then we also have guys back there, maybe even – if we want to mix up the run game a bit, I like a guy to have a bright future in Roydell Williams. But who would you say is one of those guys that if we put him out there, he could be one of those, where's this guy been for the Tide all year?
I'm going to say this, and a lot of people are going to laugh, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to go Slade Bolden here. I really am. People are going to laugh. I'm going to say Slade. Slade Bolden. Okay. I know people crack jokes on Slade, but the Iron Bowl, he stepped up. The SEC championship game, he had 5 catches for 54 yards, and he played well against Cincinnati. Watch Slade Bolden. Appreciate my man Chris, Ballard Sports Media, calling in, getting us started here. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
Well, Stephen, tonight's prediction night. I told you Wednesday night there we was going to have a big prediction night. Put my reputation
Here we go,
on
baby.
in the future. And the future of this show is what it's going to be right here tonight. You know, I'm going to say it quick and get it over with. A lot of people want to talk tonight. I talked to Miss Erica B. She's in here. I seen her put her on the Facebook page. I told her we love those shoes. You need to have them shoes on, wearing them kick back with your feet up on your desk. But anyway, all right, we're going to do it right here. I tell you what, if Alabama, you got the Heisman Trophy winner, you got the SEC championship. If we go to this ball game Monday night and lose this ball game, to us old hardcore Alabama fans, and that's what I am, hardcore, it's all for nothing. And we cannot lose this ball game Monday night with all that has happened this year. And in the Heisman Trophy winner in the SEC championship, we can't do it. We've got to pull this game out. It's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be close. If Alabama loses, this may be the last time y'all hear me for quite a while. I may not be able to come back on this show because it pulls the fire out of an old man like me to see him go all the way Monday night and not be able to finish it. We've got to finish this. I don't care if it's 1 point. We got to finish it. So my reputation's on the line. If Alabama loses Monday night, I'm going into the wasteland, and it may be a while before I'll be back on here. So I'm just telling you like it is. We got to have a win. But this is for William Bryan. I told everybody I'd do it. So here we go. Well, thank you, Person. Howdy, football fans. The 2021 pigskin season has come to an end. There's a little chance that upset bug is still in business. If so, I'll put a little more rat poison out and bring his season to an end. Once again, it's Alabama versus Georgia for the national championship. Can Nick Saban pull the bone out of the Bulldogs' mouth twice in one season without getting bit? It's yet to be seen. I'll guarantee you, Cubby Smart's Bulldogs will be ready for the challenge, and the fur will fly Monday night. Leonard's losing a tight one. Alabama 24, Georgia 21. I hope they win Monday night. If they don't, folks, I'll see y'all when I get back. I love y'all. This is a great show. I've always enjoyed it, but I put my reputation on the line. We got to have this victory. Y'all carry on. I love y'all. Stephen, I'll talk to you later. I love you. Be safe.
Appreciate Waylon calling in. The president put that reputation on the line, got Bama 24, Georgia 21. Crimson Tide taking on that national championship of college football. We continue with phone calls right here. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hi, Coach. Bill from snowy New York. How you doing?
Doing good. Bill, what's going on, man?
Well, look, I think that two things are going to really come into play here. Like when Alabama, when we win games, these title games, a lot of times we do it with like players that were virtual unknowns before the game. In other words, to even Devontae in that first game catching that winning pass, you know, Billingsley, we got players that come out of nowhere, and this I think we're going to do it again with that. But I think the game's going to be won primarily on defense, and we are going to win it. I'm going to tell you how. It's going to be like the time we slaughtered Colt McCoy. You remember that? You know,
that was fun.
Georgia doesn't.
That was good, right there.
Georgia doesn't have this great quarterback, and we have are great pass rushers. We got, you know what I mean, Will Anderson, my man Dallas Turner, Brian Branch. Listen, he's going to step up. If we can hold them, it doesn't matter as much what we do. I can't expect another game like B-Rob had. You know what I mean? I can't expect another 200-plus yard game, but I don't think we need it. And by the way, love the way Trey Sanders looked at the end of that game. You know, I know that they had that little peanut defensive line with Cincy, but he was starting to get the feel of it, and he was looking good. And this show looks good. Alabama looks good. You know, we're the Crimson Tide, and I'm saying roll Tide, roll, Stephen. We're going to win this thing.
Appreciate my man Bill from New York stopping in here, giving his thoughts on the matchup next Monday night, between Alabama and Georgia for the national championship. We grab a call here. You're live on the show on the Friday. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hello, this is Cynthia from Tuscaloosa.
What's going on? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
How you feel? How you feel about this game on coming up on Monday?
Well, I think that we're going to win by 2 touchdowns, and this is going to be like when we played in national championships before against elite quarterbacks when our defense was good. We would get beat with elite defenses against the star quarterback, and I think this is our year to have the star quarterback playing against an elite defense. Although I think Alabama's defense is more elite, we're just playing in a harder league.
Absolutely. Appreciate that call right there. Coming into the show, talking about Alabama and Georgia for the national championship. We continue with calls. We grab this one. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling tonight? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, what's going on? It's Sean from Atlanta. I'm just calling, man, for one. I'm just ready for this game, but I'm also sad, though, because we're not going to get another game for a few more months after this game on Monday. So I'm kind of happy and I'm sad at the same time. But I just like to say, I don't know if you've been seeing this. Georgia has been saying some very disrespectful stuff, not only the players, but the fans. I don't know if you've been hearing it or seeing it online on Instagram and different forums and stuff like that. And to be honest, I just wanted Alabama to win. But now, to be honest, I just really just want them to dominate this game, just like they did the last game they played in the SEC championship, because that is ridiculous. I can understand you're sad, and they had opportunity twice to beat Alabama, and they blew the lead. I can understand, you're frustrated, but come on now, you got to at least have some dignity. And if you lose, you lose. You don't got to disrespect the fans and the team players and stuff like that. That's the one thing that got on my nerves. But also, I am hoping for another big game from B-Rob. I want him to have another big game because it's going to be his last game. So I just hope he's have a big game. I don't care if it's even 100 yards rushing and 30, 40 yards receiving. I just want him to have an all-around good game. That's all I got to say. And Happy New Year, because it's my first time calling in since the New Year's. I just want to say Happy New Year, man, and the best of the year to you.
Absolutely. Appreciate Sean from Atlanta calling in, showing love here on the show. It's going to be a good game. Alabama, Georgia, it is going to be a good game. I'm going to watch to see who wins the coin toss and what becomes the mindset after winning that coin toss. Guys, shout out Bill from New York, Big Bill, with that 501 in the Super Chat, showing love, helping us out here on the show. Appreciate you guys calling in, making this your show, your network, your channel, your space to talk Alabama football. We're going to switch over here to a quick topic. And this one deals with Alabama and the NFL. King Henry's back! The King! Derrick Henry returned to practice for the Titans on Wednesday after he's missed the last 2 months due to a foot injury, broke some bones there in his foot, but he is back, was back in practice, was good cutting through the trash cans, cutting through the bags, cutting through the tackle dummies, whatever drill the Titans had this dude in, he was making it do what it do. And even though he's missed 8 games, Henry is still in the top 10 for carries, yards, and touchdowns among running backs in the NFL. The Titans right now 11-5 on the year. They're back-to-back AFC South Division champions. They have the number 1 seed in the AFC in terms of playoff picture, trying to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They're working to get Henry activated off the injured reserve. So the faster they can get Henry off injured reserve, get him back in the lineup is going to be huge, because having him back means a lot of pressure off Ryan Tannehill, a lot of pressure off the passing game, and we can get back to seeing Derrick Henry run through people as he has done prior to the injury taking place there. So Henry back in practice, inching closer to getting off of IR. We're gonna go to a break right now, folks. If you're on the call line, hold on for the next 10 minutes or call back within the next 10 minutes. When we get back, we got our 2 outstanding guests. We got Brad Edwards, former ESPN analyst, author of Dynasty by the Numbers, and my man Adam Weil, UA alum, and the man behind the trending craze of the Crimson Cane, the Bama Gump verified on Twitter. We get to both of those 2 after this.
With the start of the fourth quarter, we throw them foes up. But now, you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back into the action from the break. Number one form, number one ticket for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Friday. Without further ado, we go to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up our first of two amazing guests. We got an alumnus of the University of Alabama. He's been a part. He has seen some national championships come through this program, but he is also the guy, the man, the head honcho, the name behind the craze, the phenomenon that's going off on Twitter, getting the Bama Gump verified there on Twitter with the Crimson Cane put on by John Mechie and Jamison Williams. We got Adam Weil in the building. Adam, what's going on with you, man?
Not too much. I love the introduction. I'm glad to be on. I'm happy to be a part of it. I love the show so far, and I'm looking forward to Monday.
Absolutely. We got Adam Weil right here on the show, UA alum, and the guy that's behind the trending craze going on social media. So, Adam, I want to start this off right here. What went behind this? I know John Mechie and Jamison Williams, they both did the karate kick celebration. Both of those guys came up with that. But you have taken it and have made it just not only a battle cry for Alabama fans on social media, but you've gotten all of the Bama family to come together with having the verification of the karate kick jacket there on Twitter. Just what led to you doing that?
You know, to be honest, I don't have a solid reason. At first, it started when I changed my profile name to have the ninja emoji after my name. And then I texted my friend Jade Saylor, who is also, pretty big on Gump Twitter. And I asked her if she wanted to help me start a movement because I thought it was kind of a good idea. I thought people could catch on to it. But then she was like, how about the karate emoji? And I was like, you know what, I like that. And so I wanted to figure out a way for people to catch on to it. I crafted up a tweet and eventually ended up on with saying Gump verified, because people want to be verified on Twitter. People want to, be a part of something bigger than themselves. They want to stand out in the community. So I thought that was the best wording for it to try to get people behind this. And so then I started sending it around to some of my friends, and, eventually people just started to catch on, and I had no idea it would become this big, but it has been one of the coolest things that has ever happened to me. It's ever happened to, some people on Alabama Twitter. It's been awesome to see the unity that it's created and just a fun way to support the team. And everything that they've got going on right now.
So Adam, what were your emotions like when you saw Greg Byrne become a part of it on social media? When you saw Greg Byrne do it on Twitter, what were your emotions like with him being the AD?
It was a dream come true. I've met Greg Byrne several times. Actually worked in the athletics department when I was at Alabama. But when Alabama football were the first ones to quote tweet it, and they were the first one, big, official account to do it themselves. That's when I freaked out because, Alabama has been something that one of the biggest things in my life since I was born. Both my parents went to Alabama. My mom was a cheerleader at Alabama, but all of my grandparents went to Alabama. So it's always just been in my blood. And so when Alabama football, did something with my name in it, and something that, I started that caught on, was one of the coolest things that has ever happened.
We're on the phone right now with Adam Weil, University of Alabama alumnus, and also the man behind the craze, the phenomenon, the trend going on Twitter, the movement going on Twitter with the Ninja Karate Crimson Cane verification on Twitter, paying homage there to Jamison Williams and John Mechie. But Adam, this matchup here between Alabama and Georgia, second time around for the national championship, do you sense this game being closer this time than what it was for the SEC, or just what are your thoughts on next Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously love the way that we played in the SEC championship against them, and I'm glad that it'll be a very similar matchup again. Unfortunately, we don't have Mechie this time. And honestly, I know it's going to be a close game. The score 41-24 last time, it reflects how we played, but at the end of the day, we didn't really score and pull ahead until later in the third quarter, fourth quarter. So, this Georgia team the score looked like we blew them out, but it really was a close game. Georgia's a great team. Alabama's a great team. It's going to be a great game. Both teams are going to get up for it. So I'm not discrediting Georgia by any means, and I'm just looking forward to a really good game.
As far as anybody that may be an X factor in your mind for Alabama, who's kind of that player that not a lot of people have talked about, or maybe we've overlooked, but who's a guy that you really want to see for Bama perform well in this game?
I'd have to say Dallas Turner. He's a guy that's really stepped up this year, and he's really shown what he can do, his potential. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do in his career. There's guys like Will Anderson, Jamison, Bryce, obviously the guys that have been showing out all year, their entire careers. But Dallas Turner is definitely one that I'm looking forward to seeing step up, and he's been making some great plays.
He is Adam Weil, ladies and gentlemen, University of Alabama alumnus, and the individual, the man behind the incredible phenomenon, the movement on Twitter, Ninja Crimson Cane, showing that love to Jamison Williams and John Mechie. Adam, as always, thank you for coming on, man, spending some time with us. You enjoy yourself, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Roll Tide. I'm looking forward to the game on Monday, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Adam Weil joining us right there on the show here. We go from one awesome guest to another awesome guest. We bring in the former ESPN analyst, but he's also the author of Dynasty by the Numbers, breaking down the Crimson Tide's national championship run under Coach Saban. He is Mr. Brad Edwards in the building. Brad, what's going on? How we feeling, man?
I'm doing great, Stephen. Looking forward to this one. Where I live, outside of SEC country, there are a lot of people saying, I don't care about this game. It's two SEC teams. It was played a few weeks ago. I've already seen it. Look, if you love football, and especially if you love football strategy, this is a fascinating game because there are some rematches that are going to go exactly the way that the previous one did because one team has a major matchup advantage and there's nothing the other one can do about it. That is clearly not the case with these two teams, with the talent they have on both sides of the ball. We know that Georgia's defense is going to make some adjustments. The question is, will they work? And will Alabama have some counters ready to those? And what does that mean overall? I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if this game ends up being 21-17 and it's totally different from the first one. So I'm really excited about this rematch.
So just in your opinion, Brad, do you really see this one being closer than the first one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest. We'll all try to take off the crimson-colored glasses and admit that Alabama played its best game of the season against Georgia. a few weeks ago, and they're not likely to replicate some of the things they did in that game. And let's start with 0 turnovers, 0 sacks allowed, 1 3-and-out, 2 touchdowns of more than 50 yards. Okay, I will be surprised if they can repeat any of those 4 things, much less all 4. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to go in the other direction. It doesn't mean they're going to give up 8 sacks and have 3 turnovers or anything like that. They could come close to it. I just don't think they're going to be able to play that near perfect game that they did on offense last time. Now, a lot of that was in the second quarter. Okay, a lot of that offensive success and the scoring was with Mechie in there. And it's not like Alabama doesn't have any other receivers, but at the same time, we have to admit that's a big loss. And there's still a question as to will somebody else step up and allow Jamison Williams to be the threat that he's been, because you have to worry about other guys in the passing game. And so for all of those reasons, I would be really surprised if Alabama goes out and wins this game by 17 or more.
If you're just tuning into the show on a Friday, we're joined by Brad Edwards, former ESPN analyst, but the author of Dynasty by the Numbers, breaking down this Crimson Tide national championship run under Coach Saban. So, Brad, when you look at Kirby Smart, this is a very, very big moment, big situation for him, because the pressure is this finally his moment? Is it finally his time? Is it finally his situation to get over the hurdle that is Coach Saban, that is Alabama, and bring Georgia something that it has not had since 1980, which is a national championship? In your opinion, is this Kirby's moment?
Oh, this is it. I mean, this is what everything has been building towards since he was named the head coach. I mean, for all the ridicule that Mark Richt took, especially in his final years at Georgia, he was a very successful coach. He won a few SEC titles. The only thing he really didn't do is win a national championship. And so that kind of became the key to Kirby Smart being a better coach than Mark Richt, is being able to win that national title. Now, obviously, he's recruited at a higher level than Richt ever did, and his teams are better. But if you don't win the national championship, what is that really worth? And ever since 2nd and 26, 4 years ago, there has been no acceptable result to a season for Georgia other than national title. And it looked for all the world like they were just going to cruise to it this year until they ran into Alabama and Atlanta a few weeks ago. Now there's a lot more doubt in the minds of a lot of Georgia fans, but I think they also like the spot they're in, getting a second shot at Bama, being able to change some things. I think they saw last week that their team is still really, really good. Alabama didn't expose something that now everyone else could take advantage of. And here you go. And look, given what Georgia's going to lose off this year's team and what Alabama's going to have coming back, I think Georgia fans know they're not going to get them next year. It's not very likely. So if you're going to win that national title in the near future, this is the moment for Georgia and Kirby Smart.
Flipping this now to Coach Saban here, Brad, and we got Brad Edwards on the phone lines, author of Dynasty by the Numbers, breaking down the Crimson Tide's national championship run under Coach Saban. Alabama, as you mentioned, Brad, did a lot of different things that first matchup. They played an outstanding football game on both sides, especially on offense. Do we see a similar game plan? Do we see some things different? How do you see Nick Saban, Bill O'Brien offensively pulling this thing out or putting this thing together this time against Georgia?
Yeah, I think if you're Alabama, I mean, first of all, you don't want to completely abandon what you did last time because it was very successful, but you have to go in with the assumption that Georgia's going to mix some things up. They're going to show you something they didn't the first time around. In other words, they're going to get out of what they've done all season long, and they're going to take a few chances. And whenever a team takes some chances, especially if it means, bringing more pressure or bringing pressure from different areas of the field, then it's going to open up some things that might not have been there the first time. And this is where I think Brian Robinson being healthy this time around could be a big factor, because there could be some spots to have success in the running game that Alabama didn't have the first time. We know when Georgia plays their base defense, they are really tough to run on. But maybe they'll get out of that in order to try to get more pressure on Bryce Young. And if they do, there's a possibility Alabama could run the ball better than they did the first time. And look, I think that the tight end is another thing. Somebody other than Jamison Williams is going to have to make plays consistently in this game. It's always been Mechie up till he was injured. And I don't think we can expect that Ja'Cory Brooks is going to go out there and have 8 or 9 catches. It's either going to have to be spread out among a bunch of guys, or someone like Jaleel Billingsley, maybe a combination of Billingsley and Latu, are going to have to catch a bunch of balls. It doesn't have to be a second wideout, but they're going to have to be other guys out there that are making plays in the passing game to take pressure off Williams and allow him to be the big play threat that he really needs to be against a defense like that. I think those are the keys for Alabama offensively to have a chance to score close to what they did the first time.
Going to be a fantastic matchup at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis between Crimson Tide and Georgia next Monday night for the national championship. We're joined here by Brad Edwards, former ESPN analyst, but the author of Dynasty by the Numbers, breaking down the Crimson Tide's run of national championships under Coach Saban. Brad, appreciate you, man, for coming on. Take care of yourself, man. Stay safe. Be good. You enjoy the game next week, my man.
Oh, I can't wait. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Brad Edwards joined us right there, breaking down Alabama, Georgia the second time around, this time for all the poker chips, the national championship of college football. We take a break right now, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we return to you, grabbing your calls, your thoughts, your opinions, your conversations. We get to a dialogue with you, the Bama Nation, right after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian.
And we're back in, folks. We are back in from the break of a number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show. Got my man John Ivory in the production studio. On next Monday night, we got Bama, Georgia for the college football playoff national championship game. Will Coach Saban win his 8th title in his coaching career? Or will this finally be the moment Kirby Smart breaks through for the Dogs of Georgia? It's going to be an outstanding matchup right there. But we go to the phone lines now to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. 205-448-1358. Before we take our first call, we got to shout out, who's your mama? Who's your mama with that $10 donation? Who's your mama? Showing love right here on the show. We appreciate that right there. We grab this call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling tonight? State your name and where you calling from.
It's your boy, Coach Smoot from Phoenixville, Alabama. And I'm here to make some statements tonight. You know, it's the last show before a game, so it's time to make some statements. I want to address our offense tonight, Steven, and I'm gonna do this real calm, real nice. I'm tired of everybody talking about how much of a loss Messi is going to be. I don't think you guys understand. Messi dropped a lot of big balls. He dropped some big catches early in the Georgia game. Ja'Cory Brooks is a very sure-handed receiver. I think the two big drops that he's had, they were questionable pass interference calls. Trayshawn Holden, another guy that gets open quick. I mean, even Javon Baker, even though we haven't been seeing a lot of him, this guy, he's a threat on the screen game. You got JoJo Earl who's back. Christian Leary coming out the backfield. Like this game is going to be totally different just for the fact that Messi is not in the game. I feel like the conceptual genius that Bill O'Brien has proven to be when he does call the pass plays, I think that's going to be a factor this game. I feel like too much attention is going to give to Jameson Williams, and too many guys are going to have opportunities, and Bryce is going to give guys opportunities. We've seen him do it. I mean, every game since the Auburn game, every game since every big game this season, when Bryce has had to, go away from what people assume is the look, he's been effective. And the offensive line, I see a UGA fan, a special command unit in here talking about Alabama's offensive line is broken and fractured. You must wasn't watching the first game when we lost our starting center. We didn't even start our starting center. We played a guy who had never had a start in his career at Alabama, and I think Seth McLaughlin is a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken, to never have started. No meaningful game time experience up into that Iron Bowl game, and he went in that drive and the whole offensive line shift. And then even last game with J.C. Latham, those guys are hungry. J.C. Latham also played right tackle too, Steven. I think people forget that J.C. Latham played both positions on the right side of the line. So I wouldn't be surprised if Owens can't go or Ekiyor can't go. If one of the two can go, if it's Ekiyor that can go, we put him at right guard and put Latham at right tackle or vice versa. I feel like that offensive line is just as strong, with Owens in there, if not better. And you talk about the wide receiver group and the tight ends against the secondary and the linebackers of UGA. UGA proved they cannot cover you. Michigan missed on like 4 or 5 deep passes that we know Bryce Young is not missing out on. UGA's defensive line has been struggling with the basic blocking schemes. Anytime you try to get fast with UGA up front, that's when you screw up. And I think Bill O'Brien notices that. And I honestly believe the conceptual genius of what Bill O'Brien brings to the offense when it comes to play calling is going to be displayed, just like you said earlier, Stephen, with how Saban is always playing chess instead of checkers. I believe Saban forced run game against Cincinnati. There was no need to go in the pass game. The wide receiver group is very confident. We see that. These guys go in and out the game like they've been playing, all year. It's hard to believe that Messi isn't out there. Bryce missed a lot of looks last game because, it was so comfortable in the pocket for him, So I honestly believe people are underestimating our offense again. The defense is going to show up. Stetson Bennett is not that guy. He's proven it every big game he's played in. Equal talent on the other side of the ball from him, he's going to struggle. He did against Florida. He literally struggled against Florida this season. If you go back and watch that game, Anthony Richardson, AR-15, gave UGA 18 points. He gave them extra 3 possessions before the end of the second quarter. In the last 8 minutes, I believe. That's not UGA dominating. That's UGA taking advantage of a true freshman quarterback who was on a big stage and could not stand up to the pressure. They're not dealing with that with Alabama. And then across the board, you got equal talent. I'm not going to say we better than Georgia as far as talent-wise. I think the talent is equal. The difference is in the scheme and the coaching staff. And when you look at it, the numbers speak for themselves with Coach Saban. The numbers speak for themselves with Bill O'Brien. The numbers speak for themselves with Pete Golden. As much as problems as Pete Golden was dealing with 2 years ago, that guy is a different play caller this year. He is way more aggressive, and those players trust him. And when you see that with a team, I'm going to make this statement, Steven. You can think about every special team that went on 20-plus game win streaks in recent 10 to 15, 10 to 20 years of college football. You talk about USC, you talk about Texas, You talk about Florida. You talk about Oregon. Those type of teams, it was points in those seasons when they were supposed to be in transition years or down years where they showed up big, and it was like, okay, these guys are serious. Alabama had that moment against A&M in that loss. Against A&M in that loss. All those close games, the surprise moment was the Auburn game when we struggled to score the whole game. That was the surprise. And for us to be pulled out of character and to still show resilience and win that game, the Iron Bowl, to me, is our biggest victory so far this year. That was the biggest victory. And we carrying that momentum on into the SEC the national championship season. It's going to be dirty for UGA. I honestly believe we come out tempo, it's a blowout. We come out steady trying to figure them out, they're going to hang around, but we win it by 14 plus, Stephen. I don't think it's going to be a closer game, me personally. Everybody, all these analysts say all this stuff about UGA and how great their defense is. We've seen that defense. Kirby's not going to be smart enough to out-scheme Coach Saban on any level. Not no time soon. Maybe a few more years, Saban get a little bit more up in age and, he just starts to go blind or something like that. Maybe then, where he can't read the clipboard or the whiteboard. But right now, Kirby, I'm sorry for you, man. I'm sorry for you. UGA, y'all going down Monday. My Bama fans, don't listen to the rap poison. Don't listen to the rap poison. These guys are ready. Our boys are ready. The offensive line is ready. The defense is ready. The team is ready. And our X factor this game, Steven, my last point, our X factor this game, I'm going to agree with you. Slade Bolden. Slade Bolden is going to make a lot of possession catches. We're going to get into the red zone a lot. I don't think we're going to be able to hit them over top big a lot, but I think we're going to get to the red zone, and we're going to have to find ways to score. I say either Slade or Christian Story in the red zone is going to be the X factor for us. And Latua in open field, that's going to be big for us too. Not so much as Billingsley. I think Latua in open field, they're going to underestimate it. Latua makes some great plays, but that's all I got tonight, Steven. I could go on and on. I could shut these doggone UGA fans down with facts all day and just let it be what it is. But the game is played on the field. I'm telling you, Steven, I put my score prediction down in there. We start fast. We win it by at least 2 scores, Steven. At least 2 scores. And I'm talking about an early pull-away, keep-away game. So, y'all enjoy the rest of the show. Steven, I appreciate what you do, bro. Roll Tide, and much love, brother.
Appreciate Senator Hines checking in on a Friday, getting us going here in the second call segment. We grab a call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's up, man? What's up, Uncle Charles, man?
Uncle Charles is back in this thing. What's going on, man?
Man, I couldn't leave my brothers and sisters to be hanging out there before the national championship game because this is very important. But let me explain something to you. Let me tell you something. What you said in your show earlier was prolific. Why? Why did Alabama look like they look in the Cincinnati game? Let me ask you this, ladies and gentlemen. Do you ask why when somebody closed their hand up in a car door? No, you don't ask them why, because they're in pain. Do you ask somebody when they're on the basketball court and they don't hit the backbone or the basketball goal? No, maybe they can't shoot basketball. You don't ask why. See, when we get into asking why, that's when we get in trouble. Football is about schemes. It's about schemes. See, we're Alabama brothers and sisters. We just want to win. Why? Because we got a great team. It is not for Alabama to figure out. It's for the Georgia Bulldogs to figure out. Just like I tried to tell my friend, Stephen, when he got whooped by that midget up in that carnival. Now, I told him, I said, look, man, you knew that midget had big old hands and he had big calves. And yet still you chose to do the rumble in the jungle. It didn't work out with you. But I wasn't worried about that whooping you took. I was worried about you riding back in my car, star raving naked. That's what I was worried about. Let me tell you something, man. I'm going to say this in closing. Roll, Tide, roll. And Stephen, I do a lot of late night TV watching. I watch Little House on the Prairie. I watch Gilligan's Isle. And all of a sudden, I decided to flip it on YouTube. And I saw an orangutan driving a golf cart. I mean, it's like he knew what he's doing. He was just waving his hand. I'll talk to you later. On Tuesday. See, this is when I need to go in there and pop that ball over and take 2 Excedrin and stop watching late night TV. I love you, bro. Roll, Tide, roll. We on our way, and we're going to win it all.
Appreciate Uncle Charles for calling in. Appreciate that right there, Joe. We're going to have to not have Uncle Charles watch that late TV because a orangutan driving a golf cart. Orangutan driving a golf cart. I gotta love that right there. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Stephen A. This is Stephen M. This is Rob from Mobile.
We got Rob. Rob, what's happening, man?
Yeah, so like laughing at the Uncle Charles. Hey, your guests were saying this. I think this game will kind of come up with maybe an O.J. Howard type game for Billingsley and the two. Like you said, somebody other than Jameson Williams is going to have to step up and be catching 8, 9, 10 passes in this game. This is made to order, I think, for Billingsley and the two. Just step up and show that, hey, we're just as good as Bauer for Georgia. We can be a matchup problem too, and because they have the potential, and it's time for that game, that breakout game that they have for O.J. Howard in the championship game. I want to have for Billingsley or the two or both in this game, because Georgia will be blitzing more. I see them blitzing Bryce Young more, trying to harass him more. Then the best way to handle that is to get the ball out of his hand quicker. Best way to do that, get that ball to those tight ends quick and get them in a matchup problem for their linebackers. So maybe they can pull that back a bit. And then a healthy Brian Robinson can take it on home with running the ball. The game's definitely going to be a lot tougher than it was the first time. And I think Georgia will learn from their mistakes and play differently. And we can't hope for Georgia's quarterback, Stetson Bennett, to give us a lot of early Christmas presents the way he did last game. Although the guys, I think it was Uncle Lou on his channel, has pointed out, though, that the last, 4 games, Georgia's only scored 7 points in the second half. They're going to, I think this time, Georgia finds a way to get more than 7 points in the second half of a game against Alabama. And with that being the case, our offense is going to have to keep putting pressure on Georgia's defense by scoring on them. And I just think it'll be a little bit lower scoring for us than it was last time. I don't think we'll hit the 41. But as long as we get over 30, that's the main thing. Keep it over 30, put all the pressure on Georgia, and then force them to get Stetson Bennett to beat us by throwing, 35, 40 passes or whatever. If we get them to that high, then I don't think Georgia can win. But it's definitely going to be a huge challenge. And this will be Nick Saban's, again, greatest coaching job ever to win a championship with this team. Like Brad Edwards said, if the Georgia fans are like, hey, we don't get Nick Saban now when we get him, because this is your best bet. This is the rebuilding year, and you got your team set already with a bunch of seniors on there that you won't have next year if you don't do it this year. So it's definitely desperation mode for Georgia, and they have revenge on their mind. So that can give them an edge, even though the Vegas is giving us Alabama's good rat poison by still making Alabama the underdog. But Georgia will go in that game feeling like the underdog and feeling like the team that still has a lot to prove, because they are. And so it's up to Alabama again to come out and Nick Saban to prove why he's still the GOAT. And I think Bryce reminds everybody why he's the Heisman Trophy winner.
Absolutely. Appreciate Robert from Mobile. Those thoughts there coming into the show. We go to some super chats right now. We got Gucci Todd in here with that $20 donation, showing love there in the super chats. Appreciate Gucci Todd helping us out there. And then we got D. Joshua Benjamin with that $5 donation of Abraham Lincoln, smoothly walking into the super chats. Appreciate the love coming from both of those two. We continue with calls. We grab a call here. You're live on the show. It's going on. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Mike from Kentucky. How you doing tonight, brother?
Big Mike from Kentucky. What's going on, my man?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be Twins, bro. Another championship on the way. I think I was listening to Coach Smoke's call. He put it in a nutshell, man. He really took a big worry off of my mind on the O-line. He seems to think they're going to be okay. I mean, that was my only question going into this game. I mean, if you look back at that SEC championship game, that game really wasn't even competitive. I mean, I don't know why people can't give Bryce Young his dues. He's the best quarterback that I've ever seen. I mean, somebody can name one better. I mean, I don't know. He's the best cat I ever seen play quarterback. The way he sees the field, I don't think Mechie. I mean, I'd love to have him, love him to death, 1,000-yard receiver. But Bryce sees the field so good, it really don't matter. We got other guys that can get open. I think Coach Smoke's dead on the money on that. I'm looking for another lopsided victory. What do you think, Steven?
I mean, Mike, I am definitely looking forward to this game because, I mean, like you mentioned, as much as Alabama would love to have John Mechie, and I want to see Mechie out there in the field, absolutely. But to me, watching Ja'Cory Brooks, and I've said this multiple times now, body of Ardarius Stewart, skill set of Devontae Smith. And Ja'Cory just understands the magnitude of the moment. You look at him, you look at Trayshawn Holden, who can make plays, Slade Bolden, who can make plays. You got Javon Baker, who has not had a lot of opportunities, but he has the potential to make plays. And then you still have Jaleel Billingsley and Cameron too. Also a healthy Brian Robinson this time around in this matchup, who has shown he can catch the ball at the backfield too.
Yeah, it's just assignment overload. No defense. With the way Bryce Young distributes the ball, I don't think there's a defense nowhere ever. I don't care how good. Georgia really is built like a early Nick Saban era team. A Mount Cody in the middle on D, good run stopping. Kirby's got the wrong plan going. He built an old school Bama team. Alabama has evolved to the spread them out, get your tongue hanging out about halfway through the second quarter, and then pound you with a 235-pound running back. I don't see this game as being competitive. Well, I'm going to let you go, Steven. I think we're going to win by at least 3 scores, at least. I'm going to let somebody else get on, man. Roll Tide to you, brother.
Appreciate
Have a good night.
Absolutely. Appreciate Mike from Kentucky right there. He's got Bama winning by at least 3 scores against Georgia in the national championship next week. We continue with phone calls here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling tonight? State your name and where you calling from.
Steve, I'm doing good tonight, man. This is Jay from Sheffield, man.
Jay, what's happening with you, Jay?
Man, I'm here to talk that big Roll Tide talk. And I think last time I said, we the big dog. Oh, you remember when I said that, Steve?
I remember when you said that, Jay. You said that. You sure said that.
Well, what's bigger than the big dog? What's bigger than the big dog, Steve? Because guess what? Whatever it is, we finna walk all over Georgia blank. I'm going to blank it out tonight, Steve. Because we going to put our foot in they blank all night. This time we going to come out and punch it first. Last time we played, you got your rocks off. You got off early. But this time we gonna hit little Stetson in the mouth, and we gonna hit him blank hard, real early, dog. For all you Georgia fans that's real confident, I can't wait for Toto and Harris to get them a good free shot. One free shot early in the game. We gonna break all spirits, Steve, early. My bad, man. Roll Tide. Bama with the back-to-back. Bama gonna go 3-peat next year. And we gonna go 3-peat Heisman. And guess who gonna win? Will Anderson. That's how confident I'm feeling, Steve. They gonna do something that ain't nobody did. Will gonna win the Heisman. Roll Tide, baby.
Jay from Sheffield calling in, man, showing love here on the show. He is pumped up for the national championship game. I'm pumped up myself over here. We continue with phone calls. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, man, it's Smitty from Pensacola.
Smitty, what's going on, brother?
Hey, man, Jay from Sheffield, man. Hey, I love his energy, man. That was beautiful. Hopefully, we beat the blank out of them, and also hopefully we blank them on the scoreboard. I feel like that's a possibility. But I hope y'all listen to Coach Smoot, man. He feel like the man is brilliant, you know. But what I think is gonna happen, I think we're gonna spread them out on offense. We're gonna loosen them up a little bit, and I feel like J-Mo is still gonna ball, man. We can't not get J-Mo the ball. You know, he's a playmaker. I understand that. You know, we're gonna utilize them tight ends a little bit more, maybe. But I feel like J-Mo is gonna ball. This is for all the marbles, man. We gotta use our good players. Also, just overall, I feel like I'll take Bama's offense over Georgia's defense any day, bro. Any day. And I also feel like I'll take our defense over their offense any day on any field. And I got one question for you, bro, and I'm gonna let other callers get in here. So I got a good friend, man. He's a Georgia fan. He wanna bet me $100 on the game. Should I take it? I don't know. I feel like it'll be the easiest $100 in the world to make, man. Should I take it?
Man, I'm Smitty, gonna tell you, I'm not gonna advise you on where to put your money in, man. I'm not gonna advise you to do that. That is not my lane to advise you to do that. We appreciate Smitty though from Pensacola for the call there, showing love on the show. We continue with calls. You're live on the show. What's happening? What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Man, you know who I am there, Stephen. It's William up here in Iowa. What's happening?
Doing good, William. Doing good, my man. We got Bama, Georgia on Monday night for the national championship. Kirby and Nick Saban going at it again.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait, man. Big news up here in Omaha at the Henry Doorly Zoo. Doorly Zoo, I think it's what it's called. They had a brand new baby elephant come in the world today, so must be a sign. Must be a sign.
Brand new
baby. Go ahead and take that 100.
I mean, brand new baby elephant born. I mean, William, that might mean something for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm anxious for this game here. I'm telling you what, man. It's we got a lot of that yummy rat poison in the chat from them Georgia fans. Y'all just keep it up, man, and we'll see how it goes here. All the cards will be laid out Monday night, and we'll see. It's the Roll Tide's going to roll on. That's just who they are, who we are, and that's all I got to say. And what about injuries? I don't think you said we had any to note besides Roy Dale. I think you said still out, right?
I think I think it's still Roy Dale. I think it's still Roy Dale and Jace. I know on the offensive line, it was Ekiyor and Chris Owens, but I know Saban mentioned he's high on the medical staff getting those guys back. But appreciate William from Iowa for the call there. As always, if you're trying to get your picture featured on the show with your name as you're calling in, you send that photo to tdalabamateam@gmail.com. That's tdalabamateam@gmail.com. Send the photo right there, and the photo along with your name will be featured on the show. We got to shout out Micah Mumford with that $4.99 in the Super Chats, helping us out here on the show. Appreciate the love there coming from Micah Mumford, showing love to us right here on In My Own Words. Switching this over here now to a quick topic, and the topic being your Crimson Tide has arrived in Indianapolis. The Crimson Tide, Bama is in Indy. Plane has landed. Alabama getting ready to start preparing, practicing inside Lucas Oil Stadium for the matchup on Monday against Georgia for the national championship. I know Chris Allen, Alabama outside linebacker, was doing little videos there on his Instagram talking about the team taking the jet and taking the plane and flying to Indy. But the team has landed on site, on location, to now start the preparation on site to face Georgia, Kirby Smart in the national championship game. But we go to a break right here, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we're getting to why the quarterback position will ultimately decide this game. We break down Bryce Young and Stetson Bennett after this.
If If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back in from the break. I'm a number one ticket, hottest show on the streets here, baby. Talking about your Crimson Tide. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate all of you checking us out on today. And before we get into the final topic of conversation, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. So for all of you fans still overjoyed with the Crimson Tide's national championship from the 2020 campaign, we want you to check out our championship collection merch. This means you grab you an 18 of them things, folk, hoodie, t-shirt, or sweatshirt, as well as ours. Got 18? We do shirts. Designs that feature all 18 championship years on the back. You head over to TDAwear.com. Do it right now. TDAwear.com. You go to Championship Collections merch tab, and you get you that gear today, showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Now, it doesn't matter how we look at the matchups where this game between Alabama and Georgia is concerned. It doesn't matter the matchups we talk about, the coaching staffs, the players in the field. It really doesn't matter. When you look at both coaching staffs are A1. When you look at both teams, they both have a running game, they both have a defense, they both have playmakers, all of this. At the end of the day, where it all boils down to, in the words of Kanye West, it all falls down. In the words of the Kanye West song, All Falls Down, where it all falls down is this area right here. The quarterback play. It all comes down to the man pulling the trigger. It all comes down to the individual tossing, distributing the pigskin on the field. That's what it all boils down to. It all boils down to Bryce Young and Stetson Bennett. These two quarterbacks right here, which one of these two has the game where it all boils down, where it all falls, where there's chaos everywhere, when the opposing team's defense takes everything away, and that quarterback's got to make plays to win this type of game, which one can do this? And starting this thing off to me with Stetson Bennett, the biggest question for Stetson is, can he put Georgia on his back? Can he put Georgia on his back, work off script, and win Georgia a football game? Because Georgia's built like 2009 Alabama in the sense of quarterback, you get the ball to the playmakers, we play behind the run game and the defense, quarterback, just don't screw it up. And in today's age of college football and pro football where you got way more quarterbacks that are dynamic, that are athletic, that can ad-lib, that can work off script, that play at their best when there is utter chaos going around them, the one question for Stetson Bennett, and he's probably been throwing this question throughout his entire career, if he has to be the one to win you the football game, if the opponent takes away every other option from Georgia, and all it has is Stetson Bennett to win the football game, can Kirby Smart truly look at Stetson and go, son, win us the game? can he really do it? Because Alabama is going to make Georgia play with one hand tied behind their back. Alabama's not going to have Zamir White, James Cook, and these backs have all this success. They're going to put this on Stetson Bennett and go, hey, you, 13, you beat us. You beat us. Can Stetson Bennett get that done? It's kind of stepping out of what he's known for and known to do, but that's the biggest question that he's got to answer. On the flip side, where Bryce Young is concerned, Bryce Young has been working off the script all year. Bryce Young, have y'all noticed how calm Bryce is in the face of chaos? Everything could be going wrong around him, and he's just as calm as ever. I mean, you go back to the Florida game, because I was in Gainesville, and I remember two people looked at me and said, Steven, we're going to make this increasingly difficult for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done? But that was a hostile environment in the swamp. And Bryce Young played some real good ball down there and helped Alabama win that game, even though it was by 2. Then you look at, Bryce goes down to Kyle Field, College Station, Texas. Yes, it was a 3-point loss for Alabama, but Young made some throws in that game that the Tide needed to have, and he put Alabama in every position to win that game. Then you go down to Auburn, Jordan-Hare Stadium, where everything goes in Jordan-Hare. You're down by 7, fourth quarter, a minute and change to go, no timeouts. The ball is on your 3-yard line. You got to go 97 yards or Auburn storms the field again. And Bryce Young is smiling. He's not worried. He's not overwhelmed. He wasn't even concerned. The kid's smiling out there. And he takes you 97 yards and 12 plays, ties the game, puts you through 4 overtimes, and he wins the football game. Calm as ever in the face of absolute chaos. Can work off script in absolute chaos. Nick Saban can literally say, Bryce Young, go out there and give us 400 to 500 passing yards, put 40 to 50 plus points on the board, and 9 does that. He's been doing it all year. Despite up and down offensive line, despite drop balls from receiving options at times, despite some up and down play calling from Bill O'Brien, Bryce Young has done this all year, and he has a chance to do it again for the national championship. And here's another fact. Here's another fact toward here. Young has the opportunity to be the 4th quarterback since 2010, joining Cam Newton of Auburn, joining Jameis Winston of Florida State from 2013, and joining Joe Burrow of LSU from 2019. Bryce Young can become the 4th quarterback since 2010 to win the Heisman Trophy and a national championship in the same season. And this is a young man who is Alabama's single-season passing record holder for passing yards, touchdown passes, total yards, and total touchdowns. The game comes down to the quarterback. Doesn't matter. I mean, everything else is pretty much even for in this matchup. Both teams, tremendous coaching staffs. Both teams, good defenses. Both teams can run the football. Both teams have playmakers. But which trigger man can put this team on his back in situations where, hey, we need you to work off script, we need to play, who can get this done? And right now, Bryce Young has shown more consistently that he can work off script, and when it all falls down, he's able to pull something out of a hat to get it going here for the Crimson Tide. It's going to be a fun, incredible football game on Monday at Lucas Oil Stadium. But people, as always, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage here on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, check us out on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, Overcast.fm, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. People, If you're trying to, people, as always, you can purchase individual copies, there we go, of Touchdown Alabama magazine, have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description if you're trying to get the fresh edition, print edition of TDA, the magazine. You go to touchdownalabama.com, you click join, become a member, a subscriber today. That link found in the description. If you're also trying to get the 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at weownthefourthquarter.com, that link in the description as well. We will not have a show on Monday, so no show Monday, no In My Own Words on Monday, but still get in the game day chat. Get in the game day chat amongst your friends, chat amongst your family here at TDA, getting you pumped up, prepared to go for the matchup between Alabama and Georgia. Until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate value. Those husbands, children, weekend is here, but continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, legitimate thing, to not be bored. As always, you grab you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Enjoy the national championship game Monday night between Bama and Georgia. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith. This has been In My Own Words.